Good morning, football fans, and welcome back to Good Friday, football fans, with yours truly, Oliver. And today we have a couple of stories. Sorry, I haven't been. There's been a lot going on in my life, and I've kind of had to take a little break. I've been focusing on my React channel, so that's why I haven't been able to do any watch-alongs. So first, European competition results: Villa smashed Nottingham Forest at Villa Park 4-0 to get. I can't spell. This is really, really bad impression. There we go. Save and show. European competition results: Villa smashed Nottingham Forest at at Villa Park 4-0 to get to their first European final since 1982. If I am not wrong, I think it's 1982. I will double check though. Yeah, 1982. We have European results. Freiburg come back from 2-1 down to Braga to book their hotels in Istanbul, and Palace smashed Shakhtar Donetsk 5-2 on aggregate, and booked their place in the final, as well as Rayo Vallecano. Then, lastly, we have Arsenal beat Atletico Madrid 2-1 on aggregate to hopefully ending the dread of no European trophies, and will face Paris Saint-Germain in the final at the Puskas Arena in hope of a second UCL title. Now, if anybody watching, if you want to, like come and say your thoughts, I'll put a link in chat for that exact reason. But because I've got a few things I would like to say to Villa fans and Spurs fans and people like that. Because I'm gonna be so real. Hang on. I'm gonna be so real. Honestly, I'm gonna be real. The UCL, well, no, not the UCL, but the Conference League, the Europa Conference League, and the Europa League, they're so easy to win now. I'm not even being funny. They are. I think West Ham currently could have beaten Forest. We have, even in our worst against when we had Potter. Could have beat Porto or Midtjylland or whatever that team's called from I think who Forest played. It's boring. It's so easy now. It's so easy for English teams to just go in there. They know they're gonna win it because there's no good teams. When West Ham were in there, I'm not like slating the officials for like, oh well, like it's a bit bullshit how the one season West Ham don't get Europe, you change it so it's easier for other teams. I'm not saying that. What I am saying though is, had other teams such as Forest, Spurs, Villa had to face a really good Sevilla side with Bruno in goal, yeah. Not only that, Sevilla were really good then. They're not so much now, hence why they're not in Europe. They are the Real Madrid of the Europa League, and West Ham beat them. Name me the last time you have seen a big team that has won the Europa League more times than Sevilla, or around the same time as Sevilla in the Europa League since this new format? Sevilla haven't been in it. Lyon were in it last year, but how consistent were they? We'll just have a look, okay? Yeah. Let's just have a look. Yeah. Right. Hang on. I'm gonna name off these teams, yeah, and tell me who have consistently won the Europa League title. Lidio Goret Rezajad. Never even fucking heard of them. Fenercavaros. I've heard of them, but they're nobody. Braga. Okay, hang on. No, wait. Let me go to the Europa League thing and then search up teams or whatever, or seasons. Okay, so listen to this, yeah? So, first time, let's just see how many people, like, what teams currently in there have the most Europa League titles ever. So, obviously, oh, let's start with Sevilla. 2022, Sevilla won it. Sevilla won it again in 2019, 2020. Then again in 2015-16. Then again 2014-15. Then 2013-14. Then the last time they won it was 2006, 2007, 2005, 2006. Let me find. Let me see. Okay, yeah, right. But my point still stands. Back then, before this format, there were big teams in the Europa League, which makes it harder. So you see here, first time it was ever announced, Spurs won it. Runners-up was Wolverhampton Wanderers. Then you had Borussia Mönchengladbach in the runners-up spot and that season Liverpool won it. You got Feyenoord, Borussia Mönchengladbach, 20, Club Brugge, Juventus, PSV, Borussia Mönchengladbach, Frankfurt, Ipswich have even won it. Well, yeah, Spurs again, and then Real Madrid were even in it at some point. Real Madrid were in it at some point. But if we go to one of these, so let's go to the year that Atletico Madrid won it. Yeah, but let's name how many big teams in Europe there are in here. So first, this season, Spurs didn't even qualify. Well, they qualified for Europe, but they didn't get through the group stage. Copenhagen, PSV, Sporting, Lazio, Besiktas, Stoke. Yeah, that's right. Stoke were in it. But I think that's only because of there was like a fair play thing. Athletic Club, Salzburg, PSG. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, PSG in the Europa League. You wouldn't be saying that now because they're still a big team. They still were back then. Club Brugge, Birmingham were in there. Atletico Madrid and Anderlecht. See, here's the thing as well. Atletico Madrid had to beat the best to be the best. Nowadays, you don't need to do that. Spurs beat. Let's just have a look at Spurs' running. Yeah, let's have a look at Spurs' running. When they last season. I just want to, right, Spurs. Wait, okay, wait. 24-25. Bearing in mind, not one Spurs player in the team of the season, by the way, that year, apart from Pedro Porro. Cherky was at Lyon. Damn. Didn't even know that. But no, okay, let's have a look at their running. Yeah? Or fixtures. Let's go to fixtures. Okay, so in the first round, they get Kurberg bag. First round we get somebody like Dynamo Zagreb or Genk. Those are definitely a bigger team than Qarabag. Well, then at least. Then they get for another wait Ferencvaros. I don't know. And then they get AZ Alkmaar. They're on the right side. We beat them swiftly. Okay, and then oh no, they come up against a good team and they lose. They lose to Galatasaray at home. Oh no, you had to face a big team. This is what I'm saying. You can't. I admit our running wasn't that hard. I mean, we had AZ, Anderlecht, and then Fiorentina in the final. And I think Fiorentina in the season that we faced them was better than the season Man United faced Spurs in the final last year. But as I said, they go up against a big team and they lose. And then they draw to Roma again, big team. They don't smash them or win. They draw. Again, Rangers, they draw because Rangers are a good side. They're not some fucking Poak or Noah FC team. Oh, and then they face Hoffenheim. Who, okay, they won that. Okay, fair enough. But were Hoffenheim that good of a side then? I don't know. Oh, then they face Elfsborg. Who the fuck is Elfsborg? Elfsborg. Let me know in the comments if you've ever heard of Elfsborg, because I have never heard of them. Then they go against AZ Alkmaar away and they lose in the round of 16, first leg. Then they beat AZ Alkmaar at home. Fair enough. They're an alright team, AZ Alkmaar. But then, okay, they faced Frankfurt and they struggled. They narrowly beat them 2-1 because they're no AZ Alkmaar. They're no fucking Qarabag. They're a good side, Frankfurt, and it was unlucky. It was unlucky that the pen was the only the goal of the game. But you want to know what is a good game and who deserved to win that? Man United. They faced the hardest running possible. They got Leon. Oh no, sorry. So then they had, who did Man United have? Man United had Real Sociedad. First leg 1-1. Then they smashed them 4-1. Real Sociedad, not a bad side. They're not a bad side. It's just, you know. And then hold up, wait. Oh, that's why. Okay. And then we get to the quarter-final. And this is where everything went off. I was watching the end of this game. So Leon Man United 2-2. Good game. Good game that. And then it was the 5-4 game where Harry Maguire scored the last minute winner to take them through. Again, they're both good teams. And then, oh, who do Spurs get in the semi-finals? Fucking Bodo Glimt. Bodo fucking Glimt. Let me tell you something. Hang on, let me clean my glasses. Let me tell you something. Bodo Glimt's season hadn't even started. The Europa, I'm being serious. The Europa League to them is like a pre-season trophy. They hadn't even had any warm-up games, any league games. The warm-up games are the league. Or are the Europa League. They didn't. Okay, yeah, they may have deserved to win the thing, but I don't think they actually deserved to win the cup because Man United had a harder running. They faced Athletic Club. Fair enough, Man United did smash them 7-1, but this is what I mean. This is what I mean, though. Man United getting the harder running, and they're smashing every club in sight apart from Lyon. But in Spurs, who shouldn't even be in the final, just because they got an easy run in, get it. And it's the same with this year as well. This year, it's just easy running after easy running. Let's have a look, yeah? Oh no, we can just look at the teams in we can just look at the teams. Okay. Okay, listen. Yeah, listen. I will say whether they're a good team. Lyon, good side. They've been a little bit trippy without the likes of Turkey, but Villa, good team. Midtjylland, who the fuck is that? Betis, they are actually an alright team this season. How they're not in the final, I have no clue. Porto, good, good, like semi-decent side. Braga, I personally think they're a mid-side. Roma, or Freiburg, they're a good side, I think, personally. They got to the final. Roma, mid-side. And then we've got Genk, mid. Bologna, mid. Stuttgart, mid. Some team that I've never heard of, mid. Forest, mid. Victoria Plazant, mid. Crvena Zvezda, mid. Celta Vigo, mid. Poyak, mid. Lille, mid. Fenerbahce, mid. Panathinaikos, mid. Celtic, mid. Razgrad, Laboratory Ghetto Razgrad. Guess what? Guess what? Mid. Dynamo Zagreb, mid. Bran, mid. And then we got my mic's muted. My bad. But my point is, yeah. So you got young boys, Stromgrads, Go Ahead Eagles, all the people that didn't make it through the league phase. It's bullshit because nobody. I'm gonna say it right now. Yeah, I'm gonna say it right now, and I may get hate for this, and it's not like anybody's gonna see it anyway. But if West Ham had both Spurs's and I think it's either Villa or Forest's running, yeah, we could have easily got to that final. I genuinely think we could have, because the fact how we took a game, we took a game to one of the best team possibly in the world at that time, Leverkusen. Unfortunately, they didn't win the thing because Atalanta, Adama Lookman just just cooked. He just cooked them. But we took the game to them. And again with Frankfurt, we were fucking robbed against both of those teams. We were fucking robbed against both Leverkusen and Frankfurt. Frankfurt is fair enough because Cresswell, the idiot. I mean, he's a legend. Oh, but that time he was a bit idiotic move. He's grabbed, I don't know who it was, but he's grabbed the Frankfurt player to get himself sent off. And and I think if Villa or Forest had our running for both of our Europa League runs, let's imagine. Okay, so obviously ours was kind of shorter because it was only league phase. It was tables. It was tables, then round of 16, or was it quarters? It might have been quarters, semis, then whatever. We like so we had obviously I think Villa and Forest would comfortably get through our group. That's fair enough. Hands up. I will admit our group wasn't stacked. It's basically the group of death for those teams. Well, West Ham obviously topped the group that year. Yeah, so let me have a look. I think it was 2021. Yeah, okay. So, wait, was this the same year that we got to the semis? I think it might have been. Let me just check. Yeah, it was. Um, we had 2 red cards that game. Really? Oh, and David was. Oh, can give a shit. But okay, yeah. So so the table for us was us, Dynamo Zagreb, Rapid Vienna, and Genk. And at that time, Dynamo Zagreb 10 points out of the blue. Rapid Vienna 6 points. Genk 5 points. The point gap from the point gap anyway is still pretty close. Anyway, it's only 3 points. 3 points nowadays, that's nothing. It's still possible unless it's near the end of the season. And then you look at Genk. Look, no, Genk and Rapid Vienna. Genk got so unlucky because they had 5 points and -6 goal difference, and Rapid Vienna, who got the playoff spot, got -5 goal difference and 6 points. That is, and then 6 to 10, and then Zagreb got +3, 10 points, and then we had +8, 13 points. Oh, and by the way, not to just, I'm just saying, Barcelona was in this as well. Leverkusen, Betis, Galatasaray, Lazio, Frankfurt, Olympiacos, Napoli. We had Napoli in ours, but we didn't play them. I think it was Barca. Did we not? Did we not get Barca? Oh no, we did, but they dropped from the Champions League, and that's another thing I want to speak about. Teams then dropped down from the Champions League, hence why teams like Atletico Madrid, PSG, blah blah blah, all them are in there because they dropped down from the Champions League. But now, no teams dropped from the Champions League. No teams dropped from the Champions League, and this is why it's so easy for English teams to get that 5th, spot. Unless it's Champions League. Champions League, I think, is the only fair one out of any of these. I'm not jealous, but I'm saying it's a shit show by UEFA to introduce this new league thing. Our groups were fine as they were, but okay, yeah. And then we go to knockout. Let's have a look at the teams that. Let's have a look at the teams that we could have played. So, in our bracket, we started off with. Wait, that can't be right. Oh no, yeah. We beat Sevilla 2-1. Again, good side then. Good side. Won like a load of won like 3 Europa Leagues. Good side. And then we smashed Lyon. It's actually quite a tight game. It was 1-1 at home. We had a red card as well. Who was it? Aaron Cresswell, as per usual. And then 3-0 there. We absolutely destroyed them. Who did we play on the left? Played Johnson on the left and we still won. Mental. And then we could have played Porto again back then. Good side, but they lost to Lyon. We did play Frankfurt, which we lost, unfortunately. But we could have played Barcelona. And I know Barcelona at that time, 21, 22, they were in debt and stuff. But Barca, they were in the Champions League and they've dropped down. You know, Galatasaray as well. We could play Galatasaray. And then if we look on the... what's going on there? And then if we look on the other side of the bracket, we could have played... Well, if we got to the final, we could have played Rangers, Atalanta, Leverkusen, Leipzig, or, well, said Braga. But I'm not saying that we would beat those teams. I'm saying, either way, it would have been a good game, and it would have been a challenge. But what challenge do Prem clubs, especially, have in the Europa League? What challenge? I would really like to know what challenge they have nowadays. And then obviously, West Ham won the Euro. Let's look at the Europa League next season. Holy shit, it's fucking stacked. It's stacked full of world-class teams in the Europa League. And Sevilla managed to win it. Not because they had an easy run-in, because this run-in here looks it looks hard. It looks really hard. So let's just okay. Let me just tell you the teams that are in the 22-23 Europa League. So we had Arsenal, PSV, Bodo Glimt, he made it through. Fenerbahce, Rennes, and AEK Larnaca. Then Real Betis, Roma. Union St. Gilloise, whatever. Union Berlin, Braga. And then, as you go down, you got Real Sociedad, Man United, and FC Sheriff. FC Sheriff, I think they're Swiss. No, they're Moldova. And then you got Feyenoord, Midtjylland, and Lazio. Freiburg, Netes, and Korabag. And then Ferencváros, Monaco, and Trabzonspor. But then, here's where it looks easy in the group stage. But once you get to the knockouts, you're like, oh, fuck. Teams aren't like that anymore because they have an easy run-in. So let's go to the knockouts. Yeah? Okay. Let's have a look. Juventus. Sporting. I think I already said Man United. Seville. Who ended up winning it. And then you've got Leverkusen as well. Roma. And I think Feyenoord were already in it anyway. And then we're gonna get to like the running of, and then I think this was this league format. That was league format. Okay. So then we go in 23-24. Okay. And the teams in here again, they were stacked. If I go to the knockouts, I think if anything, this is probably one of the most stacked. If anything, I think this is one of the most stacked groups. And this just goes to show these groups. These just go to show how hard West Ham had it. Okay, listen up. Yeah, okay. So for the table, we have West Ham, Freiburg, Olympiacos. Then we have Brighton, Marseille, and Ajax. That's an insane group. Brighton's topped that with only 2 points. Rangers, Sparta Prague, and Real Betis. Atalanta, Sporting, and Sturm Graz. Then we had Liverpool, by the way, Liverpool. Just saying, great team. Always kind of really have been. That season they're a little bit off. But Toulouse and Union St. Gilloise. Then we have Villarreal, Rennes, and Haifa. Slavia Which one's Praha? Is this Praha? Wait, hang on. Oh no, Sparta Prague, sorry. And this is Slavia Prague, Roma and Serviet. And then, by the way, an incredibly in form, who only lost one game all season, Leverkusen was in this as well, by the way. It was pretty easy for them, to be fair. So Leverkusen won every game, obviously. Korberg and Mold. And then, if we go in, teams dropping down from the Champions League, let's have a quick look. Benfica, Rangers. I think Villarreal was one. Sporting were one, I think. Wait, or Sporting already? Oh no, Sporting already won. Okay, never mind. Just shut up. Some of the teams had to beat a Champions League winning side or like a Champions League side to get to the final. And then, okay, so then you've got and then you got West Ham, Freiburg, Milan, wait, I need to get this right. Slavia Prague. Yeah, AC Milan in the Europa League in the 23-24 season. By the way, lost to Roma, then Leverkusen beat Roma, and then Leverkusen got to the thing. But then, okay, hang on, I need a drink. My throat's dry as fuck. And then, now, we're going to go to 24-25. We've already briefly talked about this. But, let's have a look at who's on the knockouts. And it makes you laugh. It really makes you laugh on how bad the teams in the knockouts are. Okay, let's have a listen. Yeah, AZ Alkmaar, Galatasaray. Union, Stilgalois, Ajax. Ajax aren't that bad. 20, Bodo Glimt. Plzen, Ferencvaros. I don't know how to pronounce it. And then you got Lazio, Fenerbahce, Roma, good team though. Poyak and FCSB. Real Sociedad and Midtjylland. Then you had Ajax versus Frankfurt, which Frankfurt absolutely destroyed. Spurs versus AZ, Bodo Glimt, Olympiacos, Plzen, Lazio, Frankfurt, Bodo Glimt, Lazio. But you cannot sit here and say that my mate John, yeah, he was really delusional earlier. He was like, I was saying to my Villa mate Reggie, and I was like, well, to be fair, it's so easy now because what I asked John, I said, because John interfered and he said, yeah, and we beat Frankfurt, be humble. But then I was like, yeah, but would you win against a prime Leverkusen, Lyon, and a prime Frankfurt? You didn't win against prime Frankfurt. You won against a washed Frankfurt. Washed. Done. Rinsed. Washed Frankfurt. And we had to face Sevilla as well. We just had, I think, the teams before that. Now, this whole league thing is given an easy running. It doesn't feel deserving anymore. If it was West Ham, obviously I'd be like, yeah. But then eventually, I don't want to sound like, oh yeah, because I would come to my senses. But eventually I'd be like, it doesn't feel deserving. Because we don't tend to get easy run-ins in cups. Although this year we kind of did with the FA Cup. And we should be in the final. Well, or semis at least. The ref that game was bad. But, you know, it's just so easy now. And if we look, okay, I'm just going to do a little debrief on the Conference League now. Sorry to keep on ranting, but haven't heard of any of these teams. Okay, we'll go to 23, 20, 22, 23. Yeah. So you have Fiorentina, Hearts, West Ham, Anderlecht, FCSB, Salzburg, Villarreal, Nice, Cologne, AZ Alkmaar, Ghent, Sivasspor, CFR Cluj. I haven't heard of those two, admittedly. Slavian Bratislava, heard of them. Basel, Swiss team, I think. Yeah, thank fuck. Yeah, and then obviously teams from the Europa League drop down. Remember that. So then if we go to the knockouts, we have people like Sheriff and I think we're AZ. I think AZ were one of the Europa League ones. I think no. No, some must have dropped down to the. Maybe not. But anyway, we faced like you would have heard of Ghent and well, Larnaca is different. You probably wouldn't have heard of Larnaca, but you've definitely heard of AZ Alkmaar. You've definitely heard of Fiorentina. Definitely heard of Basel, Nice, Villarreal, and Slavia and Bratislava, and FC Sheriff. But then it's season after, but they've changed it. I can't tell you enough about like any of these teams. FC no, like I just think it's easier for big teams now. Like any team, I think even fucking if Wolves ever get not Champions League, if Wolves ever get Conference League, they're winning that shit. I'm not even trying to be like delusional. Any team currently in the Prem, even Burnley would win the Conference League. It was harder like now and possibly the Europa League now. Maybe not Burnley, but maybe Spurs. West Ham would definitely win it because we got far with one of the hardest run-ins in this day and age, and we would definitely win it now because there's no teams you've heard of. I barely hear of any teams. But anyway, that's kind of my rant done. I just wanted to kind of rant about how easy the European competitions are nowadays. So I will see you guys later. Peace. Oh, peace.